So I learned something this week that leading men at work is really easy, very natural. But leading guys spiritually scares me to death. So I own a small company in Naples, Florida, and I offered an optional Bible study for my employees this week, and it's super scary. So we're going to start doing it next week, and I wanted to talk about it in this episode. All my fears, my anxiousness, and all that goes with trying to lead a group of men. All right, so welcome back to the brighter side. My name is Corey. I am not a pastor. I have no seminary background. I'm not even sure that I'm qualified to do this. I don't feel qualified, and I'm going to kind of go into all of that in this episode here. Maybe you're watching and you've wanted to do a Bible study, and you don't have to own a business to do this. It doesn't matter. It's just something I've wanted to do, honestly, for a while, and I'm really not sure how to do it. I've got a couple of my employees that are Christians and a couple that I think are curious, and so I made it optional. It's not something that they have to do, but yeah. So kind of going into that, we're gonna do a book, so it's not necessarily a Bible study. We're gonna do a book called I wrote it down here, Called to Act by Vince Miller, and it's like 5 uncommon traits about being a man, and kind of what Jesus or the Bible says about being a man versus kind of what society and all the norms, because it's kind of confusing if you start going down that rabbit hole. So we're starting with that. And what we're going to do, the plan is to meet off site. We're basically going to take whatever the chapter is, chapter one. We're going to, I think it's like 18 or 19 pages. We're going to just, cover the first half. And then, so basically in 2 weeks, we'll cover one chapter. And so that way we can kind of get into some dialogue. I'm going to try and keep it to an hour. I decided to meet off site, and it's costing me something. It is, because I wanted to make it during work time but optional, so they have the option to meet off site from 7:30 to 9, and I'll pay, and they can come, or they can come to work, and I'll have some stuff for them to do here. If they'd rather do that, they can, and these things that they can do are all part of their tasks anyway, so there's no pressure there and no hard feelings, and they don't have to come. And, I'm not really sure that I'm qualified to do this. I'm scared because even though I've been a Christian for a long time, again, I don't have any, seminary background. I don't know a lot of theology. I'm not really great at, it's like I know a lot of the Bible, but I'm not someone that can just rip off scriptures and things like that. A lot of times if somebody starts to tell me a story, I know it. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I know where this is going. But I'm just not somebody that is really good at like ripping off all these different scriptures and, oh, that reminds me of this, go to this chapter. That isn't really my strengths. I don't even really know what my strengths are, other than I'm just kind of willing to do it. I think is I guess really where I'm at. I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, my fears are that they're going to think I'm dumb, or they're going to be like, we're getting into this, and I don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe nobody talks or nobody reads it, and it just kind of feels like me just blabbing. And so I mean, my hope is that they'll take it really serious and they'll bring something to the table. And that's really it. I don't want it to be me as a boss. I don't want it to be me as, something that you have to do this to, be accepted into the company or whatever. It's definitely not. It's just something that I wanted to start to do. And we just came out of our busy season, and so we're going into our slower season. And so this is where I'm trying to fix some of the things as an employer that I could do better. And I feel like this is one of those, but making it, again, optional, because I don't want anybody to feel forced into anything. And I don't think that that's how the Bible should be forced on anyone. I don't think that my beliefs should be forced on anyone. If you want to have dialogue or you have some questions about it, I'm happy to answer. But even in the comments, like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you unless you're genuinely like asking. But I've just realized that isn't really going to be good for me or the other person, especially if they have really, no plans of changing, I guess. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as qualified and all that stuff. I have bad days too. Some days I feel barely saved, and I'm trying to be an example to my employees and trying to walk the walk and talk the talk and all that kind of stuff. So I think what I'm realizing though is that these guys, they don't need a pastor, they don't need a preacher, they don't need someone lecturing them a lot. I don't really even want to really make this about work. I could easily take some of the lessons from the Bible and apply it to work and kind of make it seem like it's like a Christian work meeting, but it's really just men getting together and talking about the things that we talk about. Even in the first chapter, it talks about lust and anger and pride and all these different things that I think guys probably struggle to really talk about, or maybe they have it, but they don't really realize that, oh, wow, that is pride. I didn't know that really had a name, but I do feel that. Or just dealing with anger and things like that. I mean, we've had stuff at work where guys are mad at each other, and, just kind of like ways to maybe help us process it, and ways to make us better. And so that's what I'm hoping like will come out of it. But I think men just, and I know this from being in other men's groups and stuff, is I think guys want to talk about it, but sometimes it's just hard for us to sometimes have a place, or call a buddy and say, hey, I need to talk, or something like that, when really that is what you need. It's really easy to talk about sports, or, music, or things that we're into. It's really easy for us to do that, or work. But it's really hard to say, hey, I'm really struggling with this, or I'm dealing with this, or I need some accountability, or why do I feel this way, or, oh, me too. I mean, I think all of those things are things that guys sort of struggle with. And so I think really what they need more than a pastor, or a preacher, is just someone that's willing to start a Bible study, somebody that's willing to say a time and a place in a book, and here's what you want to read, and here's what we're going to talk about. And I think I'm hoping that's half the battle. I'm hoping that is going to be what they want and they need. And I will say they do seem excited about it. Now, I don't know if it's that they're excited to meet off site and get paid. I mean, as a boss, I kind of go, oh man, they're just glad that they're not, they're getting paid for an hour and a half of work, and I'll probably buy some food, or whatever. Then part of me is like, no, they might just really need it. They might be really excited, because when I handed them the book, they were all genuinely like looking at it like, oh man, this looks good. So I'll have to report back to you on how that goes, but that's kind of it. But I mean, I think it's really easy, and I don't know if that's like Satan or the enemy or whatever kind of speaking to me, but like, who are you? I have a past. I'm not perfect. I definitely have bad days, and I think sometimes I let that hear me, or I don't know enough about the Bible, or what if they ask me some questions that I don't know, and here I am like leading this thing and kind of putting it out there, and then I don't know what to tell them, or I don't have the answer, or I didn't know that story. And I think those are easy things for probably you, if you're thinking about this and you hung on this long into the video, you probably can resonate with some of that. So I am a pretty confident guy, but and again, I feel like I know a lot about the Bible, but I mean, I don't feel like I know nearly as much when I hear other people talking and things like that. I'm not polished, that's for sure. So those are kind of my fears. I mean, I kind of wanted to kind of break it down. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes here. But I have like 3 or 4 takeaways that I wanted to kind of share with the Bible study, and kind of my plan this week. And it's not about being qualified. It's about being consistent. I actually did an episode 2 was about consistency and being there and showing up, because I mean, my honest fear is that we do it for a week or two, and then it kind of fades out, and they're like, man, what an insult if they're like, I'd rather go to work and do my jobs there, my tasks there, than go do this Bible study. That's my ultimate fear, is that they don't take it serious, that they don't show up, and I'm spending this time doing it, and I'm paying, 4 guys, 5 guys, hour and a half, and I'm not getting any work done there. So that's a legit concern that I have and that I'm worried about. But I think that I just got to be consistent and just continue to show up, continue to be there, continue to show that I care, continue to show that this isn't like a front, that this is really where I want to go, where I want to be helpful, where I feel called, and just trying to be obedient to God, and also this feeling that I have inside of me that's wanting to do this. The second one is making it optional. I think that's important. If you're someone that's maybe going to try and lead this, I can't force you to believe what I believe. So, financially, you have to just decide, hey, do I want to go to work? They're still making the same amount of money. I'm not giving any guys any extra work. And there could even be a scenario I'm like, hey, you can be to work a little bit late today, meet us there at whatever, and I'll still pay you. Whatever it is, I know something about myself is that I will make it fair. There's going to be no pressure whatsoever to do this. And I may end up tweaking this or changing it. And if I do, I'll let you know. But right now, this is the plan of being consistent. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to at least go in, 4 weeks or a month and just see what happens. The third one is being awkward and not showing or not knowing what it is exactly that I'm doing, and maybe it being a little awkward, or so you open up the book and I have all this stuff highlighted and then they don't, and you're just like, hey, what do you got on this first chapter? Anybody think anything stuck out or stand up, or you get in your feels, and nobody really says anything, and then it ends up again me being like just talking about all the stuff that it meant to me, and then me kind of, I don't want to say preaching at them, but then I'm relating it to work or whatever, and I don't want it to be that. But awkward, I think, is fine as long as it's not forced. And so that's kind of the third takeaway that I came up with was that. And the fourth is lead your home first. And it's strange because as I've started to do this, even at work, it's kind of elevated me to really live it out. And sometimes I think I am living it out, but there's little, like, I feel like it's the Holy Spirit or whatever. There are things that sort of make me, something sticks out in my head and I go, oh man, I really should be doing that, or I should be doing this, or I need to talk like this, or every once in a while if a cuss word slips or something, like, man, you got to be better than that. Like, it's you are better than that. You're just being lazy. You're being sloppy. And also at home with my kids and my wife, like, I don't, that's the last thing I want to do is be fraudulent. Like, I want them to think that is who my dad is, and it's cool that he's sharing that. And I hope that that is what I do. And I do think that that's important to really be that person, whatever it is. And so putting myself out there, even on this video, because I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. And I've always kind of felt led towards, I've always enjoyed men's Bible studies when I've been in them in the past. And back home, I went to a Bible study for, I don't know, probably 10 years, and I loved it. I really missed it coming to Florida. It's not that we don't have Bible studies here, but I just always felt gravitated towards that. And I always enjoyed that. I always enjoyed, like, I'm really not even the Bible study, really just getting together and talking about problems and talking about life, sharing things that you probably wouldn't share at work or in any other circumstances. So I don't know if that's just something I personally enjoy, or if it really is a calling from God that this is a plan that he has for me. And I'm finally just having the stones, I guess, do it. Pray for me. Pray for me that it goes well. I'm really excited about it. And I'm really nervous about it. I will touch on this in another episode, but I actually started a Bible study with my son, who's 17, and three other of his buddies that I'm doing on another night. And we're actually going through the same book. I just wanted to keep it simple. And we did that. Actually, our first episode was, or not our first episode, but our first meeting was actually on Monday night. This is Wednesday when I'm shooting this, just a couple of days ago. And it was awesome. It was really cool, but I was really nervous about it. And all these kids go to a Christian school. So it was intimidating because they know the Bible well. That made me feel sort of like, man, I'm 44, these kids are 17. And it was intimidating to feel qualified to lead these kids. Even that's a work in progress. So I guess I'm doubling up. So maybe I'll get good at it, but I really wanted to do this with the guys at work, and that's been on my heart for a long time. So I'm really glad that I'm doing it. I'm really glad that I just jumped in there and did it, because I think I've constantly wondered, oh, I should do this. I've been talking about it for 2 years, and that's really the motivation behind the video. Really is, if you're thinking about doing it, like, hopefully this will inspire you to just jump out there and give it a shot, because I think that's the only way you're going to know. And you may have to make some tweaks. You may have to do some different things probably, but at least you're trying. And I'm hoping that goes well. And that's kind of it. But wrapping up, I think my heart behind it all really is, it's not a Bible study. It's deciding what kind of man I want to be, what kind of legacy I want going back to my kids and my family. When my kids, someday when I kill over or whatever, what kind of a legacy did I leave to my kids and to other people, my employees and the people that were in my circle, whatever circle that is, whether God gives me a big circle or a small circle, that they're like, that's who he really was. He was really that guy. And I don't know who that is really. I'm just giving it my honest truth. There's no script behind this video. That's really just me. As I hope that when it's my time, there's more good things said about me than bad things, and that my kids can be proud of my character, and people will come up to them and say, hey, your dad did this, and your dad did this, and your dad helped me here, and your dad helped me there, and that brings them some kind of joy and something to be proud of. And really, also, I tell people that I'm a Christian and I run a Christian business. And, you never know who's watching. You don't know who's following you for whatever reason they may follow you, whether it's funny or it's your leadership or your business, or I don't know. I don't always know who's watching or whatever, but I know there's always people watching that you're not expecting. So that's it. That's my heart behind it. That's really what I'm doing. That's what the Bible study is all about. And so thanks for hanging on. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you posted on how it's going. If you got any questions, I'll leave them in the comments, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.